Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're all doing great. And this video, if you clicked on it, you obviously, if you did not catch the subtle hint I dropped a couple of weeks ago about future deck profiles, there is a new game now that I will also be covering on my channel. I don't know the extent of it. I don't know how many videos I will make on it for those of you who do not play this game, just because either A, you can't afford to play 2 games, or you only want to play one, or whatever your reasoning is. Do not think for 1 second this is going to slow down the Vanguard content. That Vanguard is still going to remain the 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 head where most of the content is going to be coming from. But if you caught my subtle hint drop, I tried to not make it too obvious, but you guys saw that I dropped a hint in one of my previous deck profiles that I would be covering Buddyfight now. Buddyfight is, I got to admit, it's one thing that I will give Bushiroad credit for is they know how to make a game easy to explain. When Vanguard very first came out, you could sit down and teach someone to play in less than 10 minutes. Now you need about 15 to explain what strides are, but Vanguard is real simple to learn, and Buddyfight is even simpler than that. And I'm not saying that is what makes Bushiroad such a great, they're not, I'm not trying to suck up or anything here, but Bushiroad is really, really good at taking a game and making it excellent while also keeping the rules to where you could explain them to anybody. I'm really, really happy for that. The anime is absolutely amazing. I'm in the middle of the 2nd season right now, Buddyfight 100. Really enjoy it. Simple game, a lot of strategy involved. Really enjoy it. Like I said, I don't I don't know the extent of how much I will be covering. I don't know that, but if you guys want to see more Buddyfight content from me, please in the comment section below tell me. If you want me to do, like for Vanguard, I try to look at the new set a couple weeks before it comes out, and I tell you what's going to change, what's going to be the money cards, what's going to go up in price that's already out, that's going to make the newer stuff better. If you want me to do that for Buddyfight, I'm more than willing to do that. You just have to tell me if you're willing, if you want to see it. If it's something that you guys don't want to see, then I will limit my Buddyfight videos. But if you do want to see more Buddyfight videos, please tell me. So, anyway, guys, this is my first Buddyfight deck. I've done a lot of tweaking to it. I was going to make a video like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago about it, but I was collecting the cards, finishing up to build my first deck that I at least considered it done, and this is what I came up with. I took some advice from friends, other things I've seen, the show. I mean, I just kind of took a little bit of, I just tried to take everything in and try and create my first one. This is, I'm not saying it's going to be the best deck out there, but in testing so far with my friends, it's going really, really well, actually. I will tell you that pretty much everyone else on my team has picked up the game as well, so if you guys want to even see Buddyfight matches on the channel, because I've done Vanguard matches before, if you want to see a Buddyfight match, let me know. So anyway, let's just get straight into this. So anyway, you might be asking yourself, what world do I play for? Anybody who knows me should not even have to think about it, and that is Dragon World. I love dragons. So this is a Dragon World deck profile, specifically focusing on the 5th Omni archetype. My favorite character so far in the show is Drum, so that should kind of tell you maybe a little bit about this deck, but anyway, let's just jump straight into this. My buddy monster is 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon, Sandstaff Arcade. Arcade is, in my opinion, a really, really good option for your buddy monster. So her effects are, 1, it can't be called to the center. Her second skill is, when you're dealt damage, if you have no monster in your center, you may move this monster to your center. So she can't be called to the center, but if she is on your right or left circle and you're dealt damage, she can be moved to the center with her effect. So that's the only way that she can be in the center. And then her other skill is, when this card is destroyed, put the top card of your deck into your gauge and gain 1 life. So the reason I like this is because when you call her, you gain a life, and then when she dies, you gain a life. Because you gain a life when you call her through the buddy gift, and when she dies, you gain another life and a gauge. So even if your opponent has penetrate when you move her to the center, you're going to take the damage, and then you're going to gain your life back and gain gauge on top of it. So there's really no downside to using her as your buddy. For size 3s, I only play one size 3 of the deck, and this is a suggestion I took from my friend Jonathan, and that is 4th Omni Fire Lord Burn Nova. This card is a lifesaver. It literally will save your ass at times. It has saved mine a couple times. First off, he is obviously not a Dragon World card, but he is an Omni Lord. You may use 1 Omni Lord in any deck you play if you do not play its world. So since this is a Dragon World deck, and he is from Ancient World, I can play 1 of him. And even 1 of him is still very good to have. In case you do draw into him, he can save your life. So his ability is call cost. When your life would become 0 during your opponent's turn, you may pay 3 gauge. Your life becomes 1, and for this turn, you cannot be dealt damage. So he's kind of like a hand trap. If your opponent hits you to 0 and they think, yay, I've won, you can be like, call, pay 3 gauge, and you survive. The only downside is when this card enters the field, discard your entire hand, put all other cards other than this card from your field into the drop zone, and for this turn, this card cannot be destroyed. So the turn he's called, you can't take damage, and they can't kill this. So it guarantees you another turn. Also, he has the triple attack ability, so you can attack with him 3 times in 1 turn, which is absolutely bonkers, because there have been so many times where my opponent will literally throw everything they have at me. I'll go to 0, call this next turn. If they're at like 4 life, go attack, restand, attack, stand, attack. So Burn Nova is definitely a really, really good card. So I could see playing 1 of this in any deck, honestly. Just for that simple fact. For size 2 monsters, here, I'm going to get this out of the way now, is we are playing 4 copies of 5th Omni Dragon Lord Drum. So this card is absolutely insane. This is by far the best monster in the deck, and my favorite, this is the Dragonic Overlord of Buddyfight for me. And I couldn't decide which artwork I liked better, so I decided to play 2 of each. So 5th Omni Dragon Lord Drum, he is obviously an Omni Lord, but since we are playing Dragon World, we can play 4 of him. We can even play 5 of him. I decided not to have him as the buddy monster, just because I like Arcade in that position better. But you could have him as the buddy monster, but I prefer him just in the main board personally. His skills are, this card cannot be called to center. The call cost for this card is pay 1 gauge and put the top card of your deck into this card's soul. So he has Soul Guard, which is really nice. And then his skill that makes him absolutely insane is when you are dealt damage, if you have 6 life or less, destroy a monster on your opponent's field. So that is absolutely insane. They have to either attack you directly, which will lead into spell cards that I play in the deck that deal yourself damage that then can kill their monsters, or they have to attack this twice just to kill it. The card is just absolutely insane. I love this card. He is hard to find because he only comes in 2 forms, which is Secret Rare and Buddy Rare, so he is extremely hard to come by. Fortunately, I know the right people, but he is absolutely a must. Even if you weren't playing a Dragon World deck, I could see splashing one of him in just because he is absolutely awesome. I really, really love playing Drum. So, really, really amazing card. For the next size 2 is I'm playing 3 copies of 5th Omni Armored Dragon Soul Returner Seekiri? This card, I call him Undertaker Dragon because he kind of looks like an Undertaker in my opinion. And he kind of looks like Undertaker if you ever watched wrestling. His ability is Call Cost, pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, if you have no other monsters on your field, you may call a size 1 or less monster with 5th Omni in its card name from your drop zone by paying its call cost. So this card is really good because if you don't have a size 1 in your drop zone, you can just when you start your turn, you can gauge the card you want to call, and then when you call him, pay that card that you put into your gauge, put it into the drop zone, and then bring it back out because it's going to go from your gauge to the drop, to the field. So it is then just going to call itself straight back to the field, so then you can just be ready to attack your opponent. So good. So good. For the last size 2 monster is I play 3rd Omni Waterlord Miseria. This card is absolutely... I love this card to pieces. This card is so good. I wish that it was a Dragon World card, but it is not. It is a Dungeon World card, and I love this card so much because it makes me want to build Dungeon World just so I can play 5 of it. This card is just so good. I really cannot sing the praise of this card enough. So, obviously, it's an Omni Lord, so we can play it. It's from Dungeon World. His ability is Call Cost. You pay 2 gauge, and then you can put up to 2 spell cards from your drop zone into this card's soul. He has double attack, soul guard, and lifelink 2, while also having 6,000 power, 5,000 defense, and 2 critical. I really like this card for the double attack because you can just really rush your opponent down really quickly with him, and it can kind of catch your opponent off guard. So, really good card. So, that's it for size 2s. For size 1s, we're playing 4 of my buddy, obviously. So, I already went over her. Just no need to go over her again. I play 3 copies of 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Windblow Megalux. And I also play 3 copies of 5th Omni Armored Dragon Disintegrate Array. So these 2 cards, they are really good for the, I guess, the control version of this deck. I go talking about control. I love talking about control. Megalux, when you are dealt damage, you may pay 1 gauge and destroy a size 1 or less monster. Array, when you are dealt damage, you may pay 1 gauge and kill an item. So this is your item hate, this is your monster hate. And Drum's also more monster hate. So you can, you just have a little bit of hate for everything in the deck, which makes it overall consistent. And just good. And then for the last size 1 monster is I'm playing 3 copies of 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Fire Sword Doppel. Another really good card. His ability is this card cannot be called to the center, and when you are dealt damage, put the top card of your deck into your gauge. This ability can only be used once per turn. Really good because for a size 1, he has 5,000 power, so that's really good for a size 1. As opposed to this guy only has 3,000. This guy has 2,000. But for a size 1 to have 5,000 power, that's really good. And he helps you gain gauge back, so that's awesome. So that's all for size 1s. The only size 0 monster I play is 2 copies of Boomerang Dragon. I play this just because it's good to get your to get the rush down on your opponent, because you can just attack for 1 damage, come back to your hand, and then you can also attack with your weapon. So he's in here just to give you 4 attacks in a turn, which is really, really good. So other than that, that's the only reason he's in here. But really, really good card. Okay, that's all for the monsters. For our weapons or items, I play 4 copies of Dragon Lord Sword Draco Emperor. Such a good card. This item is by far my favorite. Its ability, a quick cost, is you pay 1 gauge and pay 1 life. And then its skill, which is what makes it really good, is if you would be dealt 3 or greater damage, the damage is reduced by 1. So that's good. It cuts down on your damage. And then for the last weapon I play is I play 2 copies of Steel Fist Draco Knuckle. So Draco Knuckle is an older card, but it's good because its quick cost is pay 1 life. And then it has another skill, Volcanic Charge. And that is whenever this card deals damage to your opponent, put the top card of your deck into the gauge. And then its counter skill is Act, Volcanic Burst. During this card's battle, you may pay 1 gauge. If you do, for this battle, this card gets plus 2,000 power, and since it's an act ability, you can use it as many times as you need to. So just really good. The reason I play this is just so I don't spend the gauge too quickly, because for this restores gauge, these 2 cost gauge, he restores gauge, he costs a gauge, this costs a gauge, this costs 2 gauge. So I just wanted to try and level out the amount of use that I'm taking away from it. So that's why I play this, and it's also still a pretty good card, and it helps rebuild the gauge. So there's that too. So for spell cards, for Green Dragon Shield, you may only cast this card during an attack of your opponent's turn, and if you do not have a monster in the center, nullify the attack and gain 1 life. So, pretty simple there. Next, we're playing 4 Blue Dragon Shield. You may only cast this card during an attack on your opponent's turn. If you do not have a monster in the center, nullify the attack and put the top card of your deck into your gauge. So another card that just stops attacks. And then we also have 4 copies of Dragon Lord Shield. So Dragon Lord Shield, you may only cast this card during an attack on your opponent's turn, and if you do not have a monster in the center, nullify the attack and take 1 damage. So you can use this shield to kick off your Array, your Megalux, your Doppel, or your Drum. So it can kick off effects for you, so that's nice. You can kick them off on your opponent's turn. We also play 4 copies of Dragon Change. This is another defensive card that essentially acts as a shield because you can use this to activate your abilities on your opponent's turn as well. You take the cast cost is you take 1 damage, so there it will kick off every other effect in the deck. Its counter effect is choose a monster with 5th Omni in its card name on your field. During this turn, the next time that card would be destroyed, you may prevent it from leaving the field. So it protects your Drum, your Megalux, your Array, your Arachnid, your Arcade, or your Fire Sword Doppel. So it protects pretty much any of your 5 5th Omni cards that we play in the deck. So, really, really good. And then I also play 1 Secret Treasure of Dragons, Dragon Potion. And that is just because it acts as like another Dragon Change. But it also has a grand total of 4 effects. It's choose and use one of the following 4 effects. You may only cast 1 Secret Treasure of Dragon's Dragon Potion once per turn. The first option, you gain a life. The second option, put the top card of your deck into your gauge. The third option, counter, is for this turn, an item on your field gains 1,000 power. And the fourth option, also a counter skill, you take 1 damage. So, say your opponent's about to enter battle phase, you can cast either one of these and kick off your effects, so you can ruin their field before they go into their battle phase, and they're just like, okay, Drum kicks off, kill that monster. Megalux kicks off, kill that monster. Array kicks off, kill your item. And you can pretty much just kind of pick off their field and limit their attacks, or maybe remove all of them. So that is my spells. And then for the last card in my deck is I'm playing 3 copies of Gargantua Punisher for my impact. Gargantua Punisher, just so good. Its cast cost is you pay 4 gauge, and then the skills are you may only cast this card if your opponent has 4 life or less, and neither you nor your opponent has a monster in the center. And then its other effect is it deals 4 damage to your opponent, and this card cannot be nullified, and the damage cannot be reduced. So this card wins me so many games because the gauge in this deck builds so fast, and you get them to 4 damage. You rarely have a monster in your center anyway, so just get the monster out of their center, and if they're at 4 life or less, bam. And it's just so good. I don't play Giga Howling Crusher because one, my buddy monster isn't Drum, but I did test play it with another build, and I just prefer Gargantua Punisher. Now, Buddyfight's difference than Vanguard is we have a sideboard in this game. I will show you my sideboard. This is what I'm doing with now. I don't claim that this is even close to being finished, but for my sideboard, I'm siding 2 5th Omni Dragon Lord Tenbu. Tenbu, he's an Omni Lord, and then call cost is pay 2 gauge. When this card enters the field, destroy all monsters on your opponent's field. So in matchups where your opponent has a full field, a lot of the time you can just call this and kill their monsters. So I was told this is just a really good side card, and I haven't gotten a chance to use him yet, but from what I've seen of him in other games that I've watched online, and other people use and on the show, it seems like a solid card, so definitely a card I want to play. I side my 4th Array and Megalux. Just for certain matchups like Danger World, you'd put this in and take out 1 Megalux. If I was playing 5th Omni Mirror Match, drop 1 of this, put the 4th of that in. So you can kind of just mix and match them based on what you're playing. I play 1 copy of Drago Guts, just in case I feel that in a certain matchup I need some life back. Its ability is cast cost. You take 1 damage, and then you gain 3 life. Keep in mind, some people, because I had to check the ruling on this, and I read that a lot of people get this confused. If you're at 7 life, you cast this and you take 1 damage to go to 6, but then you gain 3 life and go to 9, that does not kick Drum off, because in the end, you don't have 6 or less. You have to be at 6 or less for this to kick. So keep that in mind. So I did see that some people were confusing that, so just make sure you are aware of that. And I am throwing things. Two copies of Draco Wisdom, Knowledge of the 5th Omni. This card is really, really good. I've sided this in a couple of games and really like it. You may only cast this card if you have a card with 5th Omni and its card name on your field, which is really easy to do in this deck since I play 5. Cast cost, take a damage, so it will kick off any 5th Omni effect. And then its ability is put the top card of your deck into your gauge and draw a card. You can only activate Draco Wisdom, Knowledge of 5th Omni once per turn. So it gives you more gauge and gives you a draw, so that's nice. Next, we play 2 copies of Dragon Chase. Dragon Chase, you may only cast this card when you are dealt damage. Cast cost, pay a gauge, and its counter skill is destroy an item or spell on your opponent's field. Such a good card. And then last card I side is 1 Barbed Wire. Its ability is counter rest an item on your opponent's field. This works really good against Kaiserion or Hero World in general, where they equip monsters as items, and it's just like, nope. So anyway, guys, that is my 5th Omni deck, and this is my first attempt at a Buddyfight deck profile, so I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to explain my choices as best I could. I hope you're excited to see more Buddyfight content. If you want to see more Buddyfight content, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will definitely do my best. I'm going to try and build other decks. You know, I'm really enjoying this game. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, if you have suggestions for me, since it's the same way that for my Vanguard deck profiles, feel free to put a suggestion down there for me. Feel free to give me your thoughts, your comments, your questions on anything. I always enjoy your guys' feedback, so make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video. If you want to see more Buddyfight content, tell me in the comment section below, and tell me what you want to see. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.